I remember specifically when I was at a wedding one time, and I was up with my camera. I was shooting a video at the wedding, and I looked down, and just this girl in jeans shows up to the ceremony, and she had a tank top on with bedazzled bitch across the front. Hey,
Hi.
tell
How's
us
it going, guys?
Hey,
Hello.
what's your name and where you're from?
Matt, I'm calling in from Hollywood, California.
Hollywood,
hey.
California. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So tell us about yourself, Matt. What do you do for a living?
I am a high school history teacher.
Wow.
Awesome. So
That's awesome.
You're almost the perfect person to be having this conversation with.
Yeah. I mean, he's wearing a collared, and a tie. Hey.
Yeah, you look very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gotta keep it classy.
Yeah,
There we
exactly.
go.
So, why is it that women of the past, being classy and sexy at the same time, is so different from today, do you think?
Well, I think retroactively, it's easy for us to look back and think that fashion, in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s was relatively conservative.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, if you look at the flappers of the 20s, that was a huge break from the more Victorian style fashion of the turn of the century. I mean, they took on almost a boyish figure, cut their hair short, didn't accentuate the body, sort of rejecting these ideals of femininity, and that was pretty radical for the time.
So if you were at a party and you saw two girls and one was dressed more provocatively than the other, which one would you go up to first?
I would like to say that I would treat them equally and get to know them and see what their interests are, but I mean, I think people dress provocatively for a reason. It is to get attention. Personally, that's not my style, but I understand it and I understand how that's attractive.
The same question can be asked for women too.
That is true.
If I think would you agree if there was two guys at a party and one was dressed in like a tank top and board shorts and one was dressed very nice and well put together?
I mean, coming from my perspective, if I walked up into a party or like a bar even and someone was wearing board shorts, flip-flops, and tank top, I would rather choose the guy who is in like nice shoes, jeans, and a nice shirt that like dressed himself well. Because it's like, what is the board shorts doing for the rest of his life? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm looking more for someone who has a career that I want to, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Everyone's different though.
Yeah, I feel bad. I just wore a sweater and Matt is wearing a nice shirt and tie.
Sorry, man. It's what I do.
So in the Great Depression happened in the 30s, correct?
Yes.
Did fashion sort of change there as well? I mean,
Yeah, so, we have the Great Depression hit in, 29. And this sort of flapper movement that existed through the Roaring '20s comes to a halt. And there's a return to a more conservative fashion sense, especially for women. And you also have World War II creeping up. So things like silk and nylon and other high fashion materials are going to be allocated to the war effort.
Mm-hmm.
So you get women even going as far as taking their husbands' old suits while they're away at war and refashioning them into women's attire. It sort of returns to a more, what we would look at as conservative, structured clothing, not very fancy materials. The skirt length goes down.
because of women or the men being away at war and the women being home doing all the jobs that most of the men were doing, do you think that changed the ideology of women and what was normal for them at the time? And
Oh, of course. I mean, you have hundreds of thousands of women entering the workplace to sort of fill those jobs that would have normally been filled by men. And then when the men come back, the women are expected to go back into the domestic sphere. But once they've gotten the sort of taste of this freedom, of the ability to work and earn a wage, that's something that never goes away. And we see that ramp up in the late 50s and 60s with women's lib and all that stuff. So
yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for talking with us, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
Hope to have you on again soon.
For sure.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye, Matt.
See you guys.
He's awesome.
Oh, he was good looking too. I was like, oh my god. Like, why was I sick tonight and I couldn't look cute tonight? Like, really? Oh, man. And he was dressed nicely. Oh my god. Wow, whatever.
I was just going to say I feel bad for wearing it just a sweater.
I feel bad for being sick and not looking cute tonight. What is life?